Hey everyone, welcome back to Code with NM. I am NM and here we learning code by building real projects together. Whether you are a beginner or leveling up your skills, you will always take something practical away. Let's jump straight into this today's topic. Hello, hi Rama. So I hope everyone is fresh. Up till now, what we have done so far in Python is clear. And of course, today we are starting with intermediate Python 11/10/2025 at Code with NM. So before proceeding, anyone has any doubt regarding previous topic? Let's clear that out, or else let's jump straight into the functions because these are the topics which we will be covering in this live today. First thing first, functions and lambda. Second, decorators. Third, scope and iterators. And of course, the most important thing in any programming language is OOPS, object oriented programming. Okay, let's start with function. I hope you all don't have any queries or doubt on previous topic while loop, for loop, of course, if, elif, else, match case, and others. Also collections like list, tuple, dictionary, set. If not, let's proceed. And of course, meantime you are replying. Yeah, all good. We have few friends of mine joining this live today. So let me quickly introduce them to you all. So friend number one, this is Naruto. Friend number two is Sasuke Uchiha. Friend number three is Gara. And friend number four is, let you all, if you watch anime, I will let you all comment who is this person. So they are also joining live with us. They also want to learn Python. Okay. No, let's think on it. It's not Gojo. At the end of this live, I will tell you the name of uh, that anime character. Meanwhile, let's start with function. Let's jump straight into the functions. So first thing first, the definition of function, or we need to understand what is function is all about. So function is a block of code which only runs when it is called. It's simple. Everything is a code only, but function is a block of code, means few lines of code, few set of code which comes together and then they known as a function. But of course, there are few syntax and terms and condition to call any block of code as a function. That, and the second part means only runs when it call. Of course, the function only execute or only runs only if and only it is called. Second, you can pass data known as parameter in function. So there are two types of function. First, default function. Second, parameterized function. So default function means that function doesn't have any parameter, means what a function look like I will just show you in one of the example. Just bear with me. And parameterized means that function will hold a variable. It's simple. A function has a variable that is a parameter. The last line is a function can return data as a result. Of course, a block of code, if it is executing, after execution it will return some value, one value, or can return a multiple value. It totally depends on the way you coded it. So let's jump into an example. So this is an example of default function. So first thing first, in Python, what is necessary and how we can code or write a function. So there are few syntax we need to take care. First, def word. This is important. Def word is important. Then name of the function. This is name of my function, my fun, because I'm lazy to type the complete word function. So my fun, my underscore fun is a name of my function. It can be anything. It can be your name. If I'm writing a function to add anything, I can give def addition, or I am writing a code to calculate the factorial of a number. So I can write def factorial. I can create a factorial function. Simple. Then we need to have parentheses. These are parentheses, open and close parentheses, and of course then colon. So these are the few mandatory things, or you can call them as a syntax of a function in Python. In other programming language, we would use void in C, or int in C, C++, or function itself a word function in JS. So function works same in all the programming language, but the syntax is different. As simple as that. So let's create a function and see the output. Let me quickly open my VS Code work Python, and okay, this is the this is a Python file. Let me comment this. Done. Understood. Okay, let's start with the actual coding. So def, the keyword def, and see how in VS Code the color changes to blue, means it is an keyword. To identify it as a keyword, the color changes. Same my underscore fun fun, and of course parenthesis and colon, and see parenthesis color also changes over here. It means it identify it as a function. So def my fun parenthesis colon make this as a function. What will this function do? It will print something. So let's copy that printing statement. Hello from a function. Same. This is done. Your function is completed now. First two things to understand. This print is inside the function with the help of indentation. Here in Python, indentation is much more important. In other programming language, we have open curly braces and close curly braces. For example, the same thing will look like this in C. This will do the same thing, not main. I will change the name from main to my underscore fun. So this is how we identify that something is inside the function, or anything can goes inside the function. Jump as I use online compiler. It's fine. You can use any text editor, PyCharm or VS Code or online compiler, or you can directly use Python IDE. For example, let me show you. That is Python environment IDE. Let me quickly open that. So this is Python IDE. Here I can open a new file, and here I can type the same code, def underscore func colon print and hello from function. This all works same. uh, Configure ID size 34, apply. Okay, hope now it is visible. This now I need to, before executing it, I need to save the file in my system, and then you can do it by hitting F5 also. In some case, if your system is new, your laptop is new, you need to hit Windows F5. So it will ask you to save the file. Once you save, it will execute and show the output on this terminal. This is Python's IDE, idle environment. Here you can do the same, and same, this is how PyCharm works. PyCharm also have like VS Code environment, same that PyCharm also works. It's one and the same only. Here what in VS Code, we are not just typing the code, but of course below it we have the environment, so it's easy to use VS Code. So okay, back to the function. So this is, I think you are familiar if you know C, C++. So this is how we identify everything inside the function, means everything inside curly braces is a part of that function. In Python, it's of course the indentation. That's what my point was to explain over here. So let's remove this. Now save it, and we need to call that function. The definition, if you remember, we need to call this function. But calling the function means simply its name. Is this a calling a function? Of course not. This is normal a variable. If I should have a num1 over here, it will act as a normal variable. But now this turns into a function. My underscore fun parenthesis make it as a function. Let's save it. Run Python, and you see, once we call that function, calling that function means calling everything inside that function, and output is hello from a function, because we have a printing statement in that. Done. If this is clear, then I will be proceeding. I will wait for a few more seconds in live, because there is a delay in live of I think 30 seconds or 1 minute. I'm teaching ahead. I think the live what I'm teaching, you all are seeing on 30 seconds or 1 minute delay. All good. Okay. Okay. Then let's complicate this. For example, not complicate, I'm just saying it complicated. Let's add few things to it. 10. Just I'm demonstrating what else we can do in function. We can do n number of things in functions because it's completely dependent on us. Then let's print using f the addition of two numbers is colon, let's have num1 plus num2 over here. Save it. Let's clear the console and see. The first printing is coming, of course, hello from a function. The second is also coming. The addition of two number is 15, and actually it is calculating those value. Addition is being performed without using third variable. These two are the variable. You can have a result as a third variable. Result equals to num1 plus num2, and then you can print result over here. But I don't want to go that extra step because I am lazy, so I am doing in this way. Okay, if this is clear, default function is clear, let's jump on to arguments and parameters and function. So first thing first, we need to understand what is argument and what is parameter. So let's comment this, and here we are learning enter enter hash functions. So again I will create function now, def my underscore fun, and I will create one parameter. So let's go with name parameter, and first name, let's go with first name. So f name, or you can go with, why to complicate things, simple, and then we will be printing simply that name. So here hello, simple hello, plus, and here I will be having name, simple. So now this function has become a parameterized function. This function has become very easy. Okay, you're finding it very easy. If you want, I can complicate it more, but let's not. The main focus is we need to know the concept inside out. Once you know the concept inside out, boom, then you can code a very hardest logic. You can develop a hardest logic into a single function. Okay, I will give you one homework, you can try it. So this is parameter. This name is parameter. Argument is different. Parameter is different. So this is parameter. What is parameter? Parameter is part of the function definition. This is known as function definition. The above here is known as function definition. What is function definition? Where we are creating our function, the using the word def, using the name. My underscore func is my function name. Parenthesis, colon, everything inside the function is known as function definition or function body. Everything inside it known as function body. This is function definition. That's why parent parameters are function definition, part of function definition. Now let's call this function, but it needs one parameter. The name is required. This is required. So I will use Rama because he is the one in the live chat replying very fast. So I will be using Rama. Now this Rama is argument. Rama is an argument. It is a value which will be passed to parameter, and then this parameter is being utilized inside the function. So you got the difference. This is argument, AUG, and this here name is parameter. This is clear. What is the difference between argument and parameter? You will find many YouTubers or teachers or XYZ using the same terminology for argument and parameter, but they both are very different. Argument is which we passed a value to the function, that is argument, and the parameter is what we are defining while time of defining or creating our functions. So now let's save it. Let's clear the console, execute it, and you can see hello Rama. Yes, the function is easy. Yeah, parameter and argument clear. Of course. And also parameterized function is clear. This is the example of parameterized function. We have created on parameter, passed an argument, and it is of course very clearly saying hello Rama. Done. So this is how what function is. Now if want to let's explore few examples. So you all can do with two parameters. Let's take name and age if you want. So what else we need to add it? Comma age here, hello plus name, and we can add and your age or and you are here space plus age again plus old. Hello Rama, and you are XYZ age old, so we need to also pass comma. I'm assuming you are 18 or 20, so let's go with 18. Save it and let's clear it. See error. Why it is an error now? This I want you all to answer this, then we will do the debugging and error solving. I purposely done this to make you learn how to debug in Python, because we are now started with intermediate part, so we need to know how to tackle error and how to debug things in Python. Syntax error, of course. It's pointing out the things over here. Invalid syntax. Perhaps you forgot the comma. So where is the syntax error? Name plus perfect. Perfect. Now, now new error. Let's go with, let me expand this. Line number 257. Because we are calling the function over here, that's why. Leave it. It says this is the error all about. But actually error is here. Type error. Can only concatenate string, not into string. What is the issue? Issue is simple. If you got it, type conversion. Of course, we can type convert it, or else because Python is an string oriented programming language, it allow us to provide the value in string only. If you try to pass integer, it will say this. So there are multiple ways. One of the ways is type convert. We can handle that age and convert into the int, and then we try to print it. Or else there are other ways also. But now, as I'm directly passing 18 as a string, let's see the error will gone or not. See. Okay, spacing issue. One space. Hello, Rama, again the spacing, and you are 18 years of course old. So what you have learned from this, we can pass n numbers of parameters or create n numbers of parameter and pass n numbers of argument. This is clear in any function. Second, in Python you can't mix the type of arguments you are passing. The type is very much important. You can't pass one as a string, the second as an integer. How to do it, I can show you in one of the example if you want, but before that, this needs to be clear that anything you are passing as an argument, Python wants it in a string format, because this age and name is by default is in string. Any variable you create in Python is by default in a string format. So we need to specify or change the format of it. How to do it? Type conversion is one of the way. There are other ways. If you want to learn type conversion, I can show you that. But concept is clear. How the concept was, we can pass n numbers of parameters and n numbers of argument. If this is clear, I will proceed with, like, we can create factorial or other things. And in that, of course, we need to pass number because we need to find number. Of course, a factorial will be a number only. So let's start with a factorial. You tell me the logic. What is factorial? Simple. It's a simple question. What is factorial? Like, what is a factorial of 0? I just want you all to answer. What is a factorial of 1, 2, let's go up till 3, 4, and last 5. Basic simple answers. What is a factorial of 0 till 5? Of course, 1 factorial is 1, 2 factorial is 2. If you are not aware of what is factorial, I can explain you, then I can calculate this values. 6, 1, 4, yeah. Oh, which is the fourth one? I'm not. 1 is correct. 2 factorial is 4. Are you sure? Mistype. No worries. Typo is the biggest enemy of a developer. Typo. It's not only developer. I think typo is the enemy of each and everyone out there in any of the field. Even in while communicating also on WhatsApp, you just do one mistake and it is gone. Boom. Okay, 5 factorial is 120. Am I wrong? Of course not. What is zero's factorial? The factorial of 0 is 1. Simple. These are the values of factorial. What is factorial is a mathematical concept. Simple. I just explained this in my offline lecture. Perfect. 5 factorial is 120. In my offline lectures, I explain this to my learners or student in this way. The factorial is in Hindi, if you want to learn, is simply जो नंबर है उसको उतने बार पीछे खींचो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल 3 नंबर है तो 3 को उतने बार पीछे खींचो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल 3 2 1, 3 2 1, and then multiply this 3 into 2 into 1. 3 2s are 6 into 1, 6 into 1 is 6. So this is a factorial answer. So the number you need to multiply it in time of reducing that value by 1 means n into n minus 1. The formula of factorial is n into n minus 1. Simple. So this is if you are aware of this n into n minus 1, the simple we need to convert this n into n minus 1 into programming logic, of course inside function. Okay, because explanation to that is the same only. Sorry, my alarm. Simple. Okay. If you are aware with n into n minus 1, let's how you will convert this into code. Of course, we need to have one value. So this value, let's take it as any value. Let's take 5, and then of course next be 5 into 5 minus 1, then 4 into 4 minus 1, then 3 into 3 minus 1, 2 into, this is clear that n will have an initial value. We are going with 5. Now, how this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and of course 5 into 4 into 3 into 1, 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, 3 into 2 into 1, 2 into 1, and 1 into 1 only. Of course, 1 factorial is 1, and 0th factorial is 1, of course. I just want you all to answer later on offline doing some research why 0th factorial is 1. I don't want that answer right away. You can give it offline. Do some research and then you can answer me that why 0 factorial is 1. So we know we need one variable which is n over here. Now what else we need over here? So first we create function because we are learning function. Let's create fact parenthesis. Do we require number? Yes, we required a parameter as a number because we want to find what we want to find, a factorial of a number. But again we need to keep in mind that anything inside Python will act as string. So if I'm calling this fact and passing 5, that 5 will become string over here. So we need to do type conversion. How to do type conversion in Python, we will see that later on. So we will skip one line over here and we will come to the logic. Logic, we need to use for loop, while loop. What type of loop we need to use it, because ultimately of course 5 4 3 2 1 should be coming over here. So that is a loop. That is a loop. We need to identify what is our problem and what is the solution. So we need to have loop in place. So if it's your choice, you need to you want while loop or for loop. I'm comfortable with for loop. I will be using for loop. Now for, of course, as you had learned, for I in number. Yes, we are iterating, so I think for loop. Perfect. So let's stop up till for I, and of course here the space for type conversion. This is how you convert actual maths or actual real life problem into coding. That's why I'm not speeding up, or else I know the code. It's few line, 5 to 6 lines of code, and done. You know the factorial and calculate that you already learned in C, C++. Here, what I'm teaching is how a mathematical problem can be converted into coding. How we do it. So, uh, of course, I know I need to have a function. So I created that function with parameter, of course, because that number we will be taking from the user, whatever factorial that end user wants to find. Then I know Python will always take or pass string as an argument, so I need a type conversion, so I leave the space for the type conversion. Now I came up to the loop. This is what we are going. Perfect. Let's comment and just waiting for your comment that we are on the same page, then we can start the code further. Got it. Okay, of course. So let's proceed. For loop. So let's think on it. For loop. For I, of course, I, because we need to iterate up till 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Of course. In range, I want a range of it. Range is an inbuilt function only. Range means up till from this point to this point. Range take two parameters, the starting point up till ending point. So our starting point is 5. Of course, no, of course not. Our starting point is 1, comma, we need, because range ends at n minus 1, means if you want to find 5 factorial, but range will stop at 4 only. That's why we need to give a condition start from 1 and end at n plus 1, means end at 6. So it will stop at 5 only because it will act as n minus 1 colon. If this is not clear, I will explain you again. Now what we need to do, the actual logic, I will have a new variable result, or you can give anything you want, result, factorial, anything, your name also. And this is what I always do. This simply means result equals to result into I. So this a very long thing is, in short, is this. It's same like we have done it yesterday. Num1 equals to num1 plus 5. So it's same thing. And then I want to return result because everything is inside result. This is our logic. This is done. Simple logic. Simple logic done. And of course, then we need to call our fact, and we need to pass 5 in it. But before that, type conversion is important. We need to do type conversion. Also before that, if anyone wants to find factorial of 0 or factorial of negative numbers, then what will happen? Let's you all answer this. So the second number get excluded in the range. Second number, not the second number but the last number. For example, we are starting from 1, it will go to 2, 3, 4, but our last number is 5 right now, because num value we are passing at 5. It will just neglect the 5, it will stop at 4 only. But we want to calculate factorial up till 5. That's why that n plus 1 is there, because it will, now the range is 1 to 6 and it will stop at 5. It will include that 5, it will stop at 5, because how range logic is, start from 1 up till n minus 1. Perfect. Yeah. So my question is, if anybody enters or try to find the factorial of a negative number, what will happen? Is there possible to find the factorial of negative number? Let me just quickly cut this call. Is it possible? Is there any way to find factorial of negative numbers? First of all, answer this, then we will proceed. Yes, no, there are only two answer. I don't think so. Perfect. There is no way. Yes, of course, there is no factorial only for negative numbers. That's why there is no way. So we can't find factorial of negative numbers. So we need to handle that in the code because if end user enter -5, then what will happen? Our code will crash. So we need to handle it. So how to handle it? We need to have and create conditions over here. How to create conditions here? If, of course, if now num is less than 0. If number, we are checking it right away. If number is less than 0, I want to return there only that factorial of negative numbers is not possible. Anything. Or is not there only, but factor of negative number is not possible. Simple. Again, we need to have one thing over here is Elif. Why Elif is required? Because factorial of 0, we know the factorial of 0 is 1 itself. So directly if n value is equals to 0, then I want to return, and because it is a parameter or parameterized function, we need to return some value, calculated value or some value. So that's why I'm using return in every place, and directly I'm returning 1. Colon is missing, that's why that is a syntax error. Done. Now if number is not negative, if number is not equals to 0, then we should calculate the factorial. That's why this everything for and everything should come inside else part. Hope this point is clear. I don't think so. All right. Okay. Done. Done. Okay. Now let's leave this type conversion right away, right now, and let's see the answer. What will happen? Let's save it, clear the console, and then I will ask you one. Okay. I just don't want you all to execute, comment. Oh, num, save it, done. See, fact 5, our function name is correct, of course. Here, local variable result referenced before assignment. This type of issues are very normal. You will face this now and then, again and again. So, clear. It's me, PNC. Okay. I just love y'all names. So, do anyone have any idea what is this error is all about? Any idea why we are facing this error? It's very simple. The error is very simple. This is the actual error, na? This is the actual error. The above one is pointing out that we are passing 5 in a function. That is not an error. This is an actual error. And just by add this, because now and then you will face this type of error, then you know the solution. I will tell you the solution. Unbound local error. Local variable result means in our code there is a result and it's referenced before assignment. Means they are saying we are using it in some calculation, but it doesn't hold any value. Oh, type conversion. So you are saying the type conversion is the issue. Show code. See the code. It's the code is all yours. Let's wait for 1 minute. If not, I will answer it to you all. Meantime, I will ask Naruto. Does he knows this? Naruto, see the code. Do you know the answer? Oh, you want to whisper into my ears? Okay. So Naruto knows the answer. Result is within the loop, so it's not accessible. It is accessible. Didn't understood. Okay. Okay. Let's understand the what's the error first, and then I will tell you the actual answer what it is. Okay. So let's break down this error. So what Python error is saying that the error is with the result word, result variable, and it says reference before assignment. It simply says that you are using this result variable inside your code, but it doesn't have any value initialized and you are directly using it inside your code. That simply means we need to initialize this result with 1, because in Python if you create any variable without assigning a value, it is by default a string. But we are using this inside a calculation, inside multiplication, so result is not initialized with any mathematical value or arithmetic value. It can't be used inside multiplication, division, or anything. That's why it is giving an error. You need to initialize it. It is use reference before assignment. So now we have assigned a certain value to result. Y1, why not 0? Of course, multiplication with 0 will give us 0 only. That's why I've initialized it 1, because multiplication with 1 will give that value. Got it? This is clear. Multiplication with 0 is 0. You all know that. But multiplication with that number will give that value only. Means multiplication with 5 with 1 into 5 is 5. Okay, so this is clear. Now let's clear the console. Why we need to initialize it. Let's save the program. Let's run it and see there is no output. Now why there is no output? We have run it. We have everything. We can if we are okay. Let's check with negative values first. Let's check that first, and then you all answer why was there is no output. See, again there is no output. Didn't call the function on line number 298. I'm calling the function name is fact, you see, and it requires one parameter, so I've called that function fact and passing an argument -5. I've called the function. What's the issue? We have return statements also over here, so it should return this value 1. Okay, let's go with 0. Let's see, it should return 1. Let's save it, clear the console, executed. It's not returning anything. Why? That this is how make I increase the complexity of simple topics. Like initially we were doing function, it was very easy, but now I've made it complicated. The answer is very simple. Ah, perfect, perfect. Clap for you. It's me, PNC. Yes, perfect. There should be a printing statement, and inside printing statement, I can call this. As simple as that, because we are not printing anything, how the terminal will have or hold a value or a print a value. Now let's save it. See, you got 1. Instantly, the 1 is returned from here and we are printing that 1. That's why 1 is there. Now let's go with -5. Brainy guy. What's your actual name? It's me, PNC. What's your actual name is? See. Oh, so if it return, we need to print that function. Of course, yes. In C also, in Java also, in C++, Python, in any programming language, if you want to see an output on the terminal, you need to use printf, cout, print, or system.out.java use printing statement. Simply, I have used negative number. My if condition is working well. Factorial of a negative number is not possible. Done. Now let's go with 5. And actually, I want the output as 120. See, you got 120. Narendra. Narendra, welcome to Code with NM. And of course, I think you are a brainy guy because you debug the code, actually use the dry debugger of your brain, and you find out that I'm not printing it. So clap for you, Narendra. Yeah, that is also possible. In code, you can also use print over here and it will do the same job. You just need to avoid the sprint then. But my suggestion is in function, if it is a parameterized function, just always use return and you just need to print over here. You can manipulate the printing statement also here. For an example, let me remove this here and I can print in my own way how I want to present this output. I can do it in that way. So to do that, of course, if the factorial of a number, of course, so that number I can say I can change this to num1 equals to 5 and I can call that num1 over here, and here I can say is colon, and here I can call that fact my function and pass num1. Simple. Save it. Let's clear the console. That's why I'm not using printing in my function definition. The factorial of 5 is 120. So if you use print over here inside your function body, then you can't manipulate your printing statement with this way. So I'm giving the power to those who call. I'm a .NET developer, but I am into new projects of Python, so I want to learn this Python. Of course, welcome, welcome. Means .NET means you are experienced developer. You are already in the industry because .NET is very old technology. I very long back used to work in .NET. Then I shifted to Java. From Java, I shifted to Node, and of course all the JS, and then yeah, Python because Python was the very easiest to learn. Okay, I hope function and everything is clear. So we have learned default function, parameterized function, and we have see the how to calculate the factorial, which is very easiest thing. If you want to do some a, a bit trickier part, you can just create your calculator using function. What is calculator? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, a simple calculator. Of course, a multiplication calculator also. For example, 2 into 1 equals to 2, 2 into 2 equals to 4. That type of calculator you can also create using parameterized functions. So that I'm giving to you all. It's homework. Just you all to have a hands-on knowledge of function. Unless until you coded, you uh, face an error, you fix it. Up till then, you can't call yourself a developer. To be a developer, debugging skills is utmost required. Either you are a Node.js developer, Java developer, C++ developer, or a Python developer. Because learning other programming language, just learning the syntax. Rest debugging skills is the one and the same only. Problem solving skills. Okay, let's jump on to the next topic. So function is clear, I think. Just give me a thumbs up. I worked on C, C++, and C Sharp. Now I am into Python. Wonderful. Means I think you you are more than 10 to 15 years of experience in IT and working on C, C++ was long back, very long back. And I think you were involved in system designing, system architect, because there what we are using C++ and other things. No, 5 years. 5 years. So you started, okay, very recent only in 2020 you started. No worries. We are learning Python. So you want learning Python for what? You want to go into data science or MLA, or just you want to learn Python for backend stuffs? Okay. Okay. So you want to learn Python to continue and enhance your skills as an architect role? They say, yeah, no worries. You can, because this live will go as an offline video. You can go through it and you can ask your queries in tomorrow's live, which is 11 a.m. sharp. No worries, we all are learners here. I'm still learning and exploring the world of AI in space aeronautics. So, in whatever age, how many years of experience you have, it doesn't matter. You are still learning, and of course, will be still always learning. I'm building a web development with React.js for web, React Native for mobile, and backend for fast APIs, and AWS for hosting. Oh, okay, so you're jumping into the web development. Then let me just quickly, if you want to learn APIs, Flask APIs using Python, so this will be a very helpful video in that I've already taught how to create all types of APIs in Python using Flask. And of course, how to link that with React. That is also I've done. Where is the share button? So this is for you, Narendra. Here you can learn how to create everything. I've just handled everything. Course also everything. For that I'm building everything from scratch. Hello sir, I don't know anything about Python. You don't know anything about Python? I will ping you my day one live from day one up till here, day four. You will be from zero to hero in Python. Of course, Ashwini. This is for you, Ashwini. And of course, I've already created a playlist for Python, so you can go to Code with NM playlist and search for day one Python live. From there, I've started what is Python, why we are using Python, where Python can be utilized up till here, the intermediate level. Okay, okay. And React Native is also, if you all are going with mobile applications, so React Native is one of the good. Why it is good? Because learning Kotlin and Java for Android Studio, and then you need to do Rust and other programming language if you are trying to develop any application for Apple. So learning React Native will do your job. In React, if you know React Native, you can do one set of code and then you can generate bundles for Android APK, and of course for Apple it is different. What do you think of rough and MYPY? Okay. So you want to know the difference and in terms of coding, utilizing it, or you want to know what I think? Please give your thoughts on those two. Okay, okay. Sure, let me let me jot down this your question right away, because this all type of questions need a very. Anybody else other question? I'm jotting down. This is from Narendra. At the end of this live I will be answering this all, because in mid if I start doing this, it is like from function I'm going to something else. I will answer this, of course I will answer this, and I have a very huge thought on this too, of course, in terms of coding, in terms of learning curve, and much more. Perfect, perfect, that's what I will answer this also. So I'm jotting down your questions. What do you think about rough and pie? And of course, in microservices, what are their roles in terms of complication, time complexity, code complexity? Of course, the time used on the server and everything. I will answer this to you at the end, Narendra. Just bear with me, because we are jumping from here to there and here to there. It's okay. Any other questions? I will jot down and I will answer those at the end. If not, we can continue with Lambda, because the next topic is Lambda. In Python, are you asking in the live sessions? This tomorrow this live will be ending. We will have 1 week break, and after that I will be starting the advanced Python. In that advanced Python, I will be starting with NumPy, Keras, and everything, and we will go up till DS and ML. Then again, I will start another Python series. In that, I will be utilizing Python skills and libraries to create backend which you are required, including fast API, of course. So I will be doing side by side. Those who are interested in DS and other things, they can watch my Python live for NumPy, Keras, and other libraries, and you can watch my backend Python live. Okay, okay. Let's start with Lambda. What is Lambda? The simple, clear definition is on the screen. Lambda function is another is a type of function. It's a small anonymous function. Means it is a function only, but we have a function definition, function body. Here it is a small function. Everything we will have same, but it will be there in one line. Just bear with me, I will show you the syntax of this. So a lambda function can take any number of argument. It's the same as, of course, normal function. It can also, we can create n numbers of parameters and pass n numbers of argument, but can only have one expression. So what is expression over here is this. This is the lambda syntax. This is argument, means the parameter. This is expression, and this is the keyword lambda. This is a syntax, of course. Now let's take one example quickly, and I will explain you what is the difference in this two. Let me quickly comment this all. Comment, comment. Hash lambda. Let's start with lambda. So lambda, the color changes means the keyword is correct. Let's take num equals to num. Of course, this I am doing a very simple basic example that you all to understand. And let's print what we need to store this entire lambda argument and expression into one variable. So let's call that variable as result equals to. So now this everything will be calculated and stored inside. Oh, sorry, my bad. This should be colon. Store inside result. Done. Then I need to call the result and pass that argument. This is argument. This is parameter num. We need to pass an argument. Let's pass an argument as 20 number. So this is function only. This is how you call a function. For example, I have called it as named it as result. You can call it my underscore function. So we need to call that as my underscore function, and this is the argument. That argument will go inside this num. Num is parameter, and here with the use of that parameter, we are adding 10. Simple. This is simplified version of what we have already done over here. Simplified function of parameterized function. So let's save it quickly, clear the console and output. See, 10 plus 20 is 30. Simple. If this is clear, I can go ahead and complicate this. If it is not, then I will explain it to you all again. Simple. This is clear. I just want thumbs up. Waiting for your all reply, because to complicate it, I will add more parameters to it. Clear. For you, I think this is our very simple topic, Narendra. Okay. For others also got it, then you all are very smart people out there. Let's complicate it. Let's have num1 comma num2. I'm increasing the parameters. Now num1 plus 10. Let me have the brackets. Let's complicate it. Multiply by num2 plus 10. Simple. Now we need to pass two values. What will be the output? Let's see how good in maths you all are. What will be the output? Meantime, I can save this. You just respond me in the chat, clear the screen. I won't hit enter. Just waiting for you all to the answer. Don't use calculator. Simple basic maths. Perfect. It's 600. Perfect. It's 600. Of course. I think for you it's very simple. For others, if you're not getting it, it's nothing but a simple evaluate function I've written. Evaluate means all the bracket and everything. Of course, Rama, you also got it. Clap for you both. So this is a lambda function, means when to use lambda function and when not to use. This is the most important thing you need to know, because this concept is very much easy. I'm using basic mathematics. I can complicate this. I can have a authentication mechanism over here, and then this lambda will be very much difficult. So that is the real time example I am giving. But okay, when to use it, when not to use it. If your function, if you want to create a function for a very minimalistic task, for example, you want to check the email ID and password, it's simple, just checking the email ID. You can use lambda function, that email is existing in our database or not. So you can use this lambda function over there. But if you want to do much more things over there, for example, there is a website which allows us to log in with the help of your Gmail or Yahoo or Orchid. If you are aware of this type of other mails platform, mail mailing platform, because Gmail is only a one mailing platform. There is Orchid, there is Yahoo, XYZ. So at that platform, the traffic is coming from which domain? For example, at the rate Gmail is one of the domain. Gmail is one of the domain. So if I have a website, I just want to know as an a business owner from where the more traffic is coming. There I can't use lambda. There I need to write a proper function body, a proper function, and then use some logic to segregate those all. If this example is very much heavy, I need to rethink about another example for lambda and function. For example, very simple tasks can be carried out using lambda function. Don't complicate it by creating def. For example, you can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication by using lambda. Don't go for that whole uh, normal function. And factorial or other things cannot be done in lambda. It can be done, but it will be much more complicated if you try to do it. So that factorial and other stuffs, do it in a normal function. As simple as that. Hope this is clear. If this is clear, let's jump on to another topic. I will wait for few seconds for you all to respond. For filtering some collection data or some user defined data. Of course, yes. That's what I mean. But if I mean in this way, others won't get it because many of them are in colleges and they are starting with their IT knowledge or IT career. I can't say career because they are still in college, but yes, ordering, calculations, this all. Perfect. Okay, if Lambda function is clear, the next. Uh, Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. Because my ultimate motive is to guide them to make sure they reach far beyond where I am right now, or where, of course, you are right now. Because my time there was no one to guide me, not my teachers also. Of course, there were lack of study materials out there. We have only two books in library for C, and of course, anytime I went to the library, that book was already taken. And internet was at that time, I have on my Orkut account. Gmail was not there at that time, so it was very, if you lack of, if you don't have that right roadmap and resources, it's very difficult to you to learn anything. Sure, sure, sure. Okay, so this decorator part, I will be picking this at the end. And let's start with scope. This is very simple topic, scope and iteration. The most important topic is oops, so I just want to, because that will be also a time consuming topic. So let's start with scope. A variable is only variable from inside the region it is created. This is called scope. It's simply, for example, you have a nickname. You have a nickname. So the family members or the people you're staying with at home, your mom, dad, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, they will call you with your nickname. So that is scope only. Outside your friends and everyone, or in professional world, everyone will call you with your original name. Yes, of course, these days computer and of course internet is everything now. Source of entertainment, source of earning, source of learning, source of going and doing things out of the ways. That time the internet was not that boom. We were we used to watch cinemas and that was our entertainment. We go hiking, riding cycles in jungle and everything. I'm an outdoor person, not an indoor. Data is everything now. Okay, back to the scope. So scope is, if, okay, let me just take an example and okay, let's create one example. I just don't want to uncomment those. So your nickname is limited to your family members because in professional world nobody knows about your nickname. So simply that your nickname is a scope. Which type of scope? Local scope. So there is a global scope. Yes, of course. So let's take an example. I will create a function def what we are learning scope and def again my fun simple, and here let's have a num equals to 10, and just simply I'm printing this num. Simple, I will call my underscore func. Simply that doesn't, do not need to execute this program because you know the output will be 10 only. Just main motive is this 10 is a local scope. There is a concept, same concept in C, C++, Java known as local variable and global variable, also in JS. So this is local scope means this is local variable. For example, outside this function, if I try to call this num, it will give me an error that it is undefined or unknown. So that is why This is local to what? Local to this function only. It is not recognized outside of this function. Clear? This is local scope or local variable. Let's go with global one. What will be the global one? Which is identified throughout the program. Means throughout my program. For that, let's create, I will name this as global var, means global variable, and let's have a value 20 in this. Now if I create def my underscore fun 1, because I've already created that, and here I try to print, and we will execute both of the program. Try to print glo global var, colon is missing over there, and let's call my fun1 simple. In this case it will print 10. Of course in this case it will print 20. We don't need to, if you want, we can also have a new variable, a local one to this function, but I don't want to complicate this more. Just save it, and I just want to, yes, see, 10 is printed, that is local to this function. But if I try to call this num into this function, let's see the error now, because that is not a global one. It will give us an error. And this 20 is global one, globally declared outside this function. This 20, this global var is outside this function, but then too we are calling it inside the function, and it is printing 20 without an error. That means this variable is a global variable or a global scope. But now we are trying to print this num which is inside this function, inside this my func, and I'm trying to print it inside another function. Let's see the error. Okay, see what's the issue is, it printed 100. Why it printed 100? Now I want Narendra to answer this. Why it printed 100? Then what you are saying, I will try to do that too. Yes, I want you to answer this. Why it printed 100? It should give us an error that num is not defined, but it tried to give an answer of 100. Just waiting for Narendra's answers. See, this num is local to this function, Rama. My function definition ends here, and 10 is here. Of course, this num 10 is here. But here if you see, I'm trying to call that num which is local to this function. Outside it is unknown. This num is outside. It's unknown to this function, my func. And then here I'm calling it, so it should give us an error. But it's tried to print 100 value which is not defined only. I've not declared 100 anywhere here. Why it is giving? So okay, Narendra's answer, because you called both the function in global level. Okay, you want me to remove this? I've removed that. I save it. See, again it is printing 100. You want me to remove this also? I can remove this also. This should be unknown. This num is should be unknown here. If you all getting my point, this num is local to this only, means only my func has access to num. Why my fun1, let me rename this only function 1 and function It will be easy to, let me make it as 1 and this as 2, and let's call this, aha, okay. Yeah, exactly, it is an error. Okay, you got it. So function one has this has power or has only access to this num. Why we can, why we are able to access this num inside another function? That's why my question is all about. How this Python gets know this num value outside the function? That's what my question is all about. If you want, I can explore above. If we have created num over here and we are calling this, so let's try to search it. If by mistakenly we have already called this num above, that's what one of the reason to check the entire code. So let's comment everything first. First thing first, this is the reason why it is printing 100. See, on line number 13 and 14 we have this num over here. That's why this is globally declared, and this globally declared is being called here. That's what that 100 is coming from. Now if you see, now if you see, it highlighted with an underline and it says num is not defined. Now if I save, clear the console and try to hit, see, name error, because it is not sure that it is num or some or something else. It is not sure where this num is coming from, because now this num is local to this, but this global var is globally declared for entire program. That's what the simple scope is. There are two types of scope, local and global. I think this concept is clear. Perfect, done. So every time if you are having this 300 400 lines of code, make sure you have one section which is on the top, that you are declaring all the global variable on the top. How to do it? Simply hash, you just write global variable over there, and then you can have one block section for that global variable. This is how we do in all the programming language. In between, if there is any other, if you are reusing num below, it will override the value which you have globally declared. So make sure you have a proper blocks of code while you are doing it. Okay, let's jump onto the next topic then. The next topic is iterators. I think this is very simple topic if you are aware with for loop, while loop. What is iterator? Iterator is an object that contains a countable number of values. If this is very easy for you all, I can jump onto the oops. If not, let me then explain the what is iterators, because this is also an interesting topic, but I think most of you all won't get it in the one shot. Decorators. Okay, Rama. I will touch the decorators at end, but right now what is iterators? It's a different, they both are different, iterators and decorators. Okay, so we will do one thing, because I want to jump on to the oops. I just keep this iterator with decorators because they both go in hand. Once you get what are decorators, then ultimately you will get what is iterator is. Okay, so let me just bring down this two slides after oops and of course the decorators, and let's jump onto the main topic of the today's is oops, object oriented programming. I think if you all already done C, as you Narendra of course know, C sharp, C++, C, .NET, there we all using this object oriented programming. And this is the one of the most important thing in any programming language. If you are dealing with a huge block of code, huge lines of code, thousands and thousands of line of code. First thing first, the full form, object oriented programming. Second, what are the advantage if I'm using this oops? So these are the advantage. Provide a clear structure to program. Of course, makes code easier to maintain, reuse and debug. So this line also apply on the function also. We can reuse one function. If you create an addition function, you can reuse it again and again. You can call it and again and again. Of course, you can debug it also. You can maintain it also. If I want to change something, I will go to that particular function and change it. Simple. So this applies on function also, the second point. Third, helps keep your code dry. Simply, that means you don't need to have repeat yourself. I've already written one block of code. Again, I am just changing few things and having another block of code with the same logic. I don't want to do that. I can have one class created. With the help of class, I can create objects of that class, and inside objects I can play around with one object with different values. I can play around new values with different or newly created object of the same class. All this what I'm talking, I will be explaining you guys with proper code. Yes, of course. And then the last point is allow you to build reusable application with less code. Of course, yes. So if any, I just want anybody started coding in Java. I just want to know that anybody started coding in Java. Yes or no in chat. Started or already done coding in Java or doing coding in Java. No. Okay. No, Python is my first language. Wonderful. Python should be the first programming language you all should learn because this is the easiest one. Because in C++ and other there is a friend function, there are other types of functions also. And, and the concept is easy, but in terms of actual coding and the real case application for that particular topic is not that easy. Okay. So these are the advantage of oops. Let's jump into the code, and there are other topics to oops regarding oops. So while time of coding, you will know the syntax, and I will covering all these 4 points in that. Few years back, okay, you worked in 3 months in Java. Why I was asking this, because Java is completely based on oops only. If you know Java, Java is completely based on oops. Entire Java is based on oops only. If you know how executable file of Java is being created, there is a class file and there is actual your code wide main file of Java, then this makes sense to you all. But I think nobody has done that much deep level of coding in Java, so leave that. We are learning Python and we are learning oops. So let me quickly comment this all. OOP. And let's start with one example. So before starting with oops, we need to know few things, that is what is classes and object. So they both go hand in hand. You create class and then you create object of that class. So first thing first, a class defines what an object should look like, and an object is created based on class. For example, a class is a car, a class is a bike. What is object? Object will be Audi, Mercedes, Tesla. What are this? These are the types of cars. So the class is car. The objects are type of that class only. Means what is this Audi, BMW, Mercedes? These all are different types of cars only. But ultimately they are cars. Got it? C++, C Sharp and Java is good language for oops. Understand why oops came into existence. Of course, yes. If you want to go in very detail and want to grab very detailed knowledge of oops, you need to start with C++ if you want to learn oops, of course. But while coding in Python, up till functions and few blocks of codes, if you know, you don't need to have this oops concept in place. But it is very much important in programming. That's why we are learning this all. So I think this point is clear. What are classes and what are objects? Classes is a definition of different types of things. For example, car, bike, planes. Objects are the examples. For in our case, it is an example of that class only. But it can't ignore all the attributes of the class. It needs object should have all the attributes of the classes. In our current example, the class is a car. Then objects, a Mercedes should have four tires, a steering wheel, five-seater, six-seater, or four-seater, of course, four doors, LED lights, etc., 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 all the features that car has. So this is what a class and object is. And here in Python, almost everything in Python is an object with its property and methods. For example, like range, we are using range. We have used pop, we have used push in my previous life. This all are objects of a class, and that class is residing in the library inside Python. This is how this all get very much complicated now. So there is a library or set of libraries. We can utilize those library in Python. Few are default like range and slice and everything. Push, pop, delete this all, remove. This all are by default libraries. While you install the Python, it comes with those library. Those library have classes, different types of classes, n numbers of classes, and each classes has different objects created, and that objects we are utilizing in our code. Yes, yes, of course, of course. But for that can't be done in Python. We need to go back to the C++, and there we can take a real time of example. But here also, I will try to take those example and clear the oops concept. But again, what I said is in Python we don't have all the oops concept. There are multiple types of things in oops, but Python has very limited of them. So we will be using those limited only. We will be learning those limited concept only because Python has limit to oops concept. But C++ and Java, they are the programming language based on oops only. So they have far better. We can do far better things using oops, utilizing oops uh, in those two programming language. Okay. So coming back to the topic, a class is an object constructor or a blueprint, and following that blueprint, I can create buildings, cars, bikes, everything. That is what a class means. So let's see one example how to create class in Python, and then explanation when goes on. So let's create a class. Simple, a word class. This is the very easiest way to create a class in Java in C++. This is very difficult, and I will name it as my class. Simple. The class is created. Now we need to have something in class, so we can have a printing statement or we can have one variable created inside it. So let's create a variable. I will create num equals to 10. Simple. Class can have anything. Class can have function inside it, class can have variable inside it, class can have both of them inside it at the same time. Simple, let's call this class. So for something to get printed on the screen, I'm just printing my class. Simple, let's save it. See the output. See, the output is we have created my class and it is directly calling my class. Why that num is not printed, that is different topic. No video in YouTube in that level. If any video are there, there are not live sessions. I'm not sure why others are not doing live sessions. Might they are not comfortable with the live, or they might have some their own personal issues. Mine was that I'm teaching last 13 years. I love to teach offline, and I'm now getting familiar with YouTube and how to do live sessions. So that's why I've started live sessions and interactions. Okay. So this is simple how to create a class. This is class definition, class name, colon. Now let's create object out of it. How to create an object out of it is very simple. So let me have this only in the place. I am creating an object of this class. To create an object means simply to create a variable over here. So let me name obj means object, and I will call my class on this object. And then now this obj means my object have all the rights to access each and every element or function if we have declared or created inside my class. So it can access this num. Who can access? My object can access. So then we can print obj dot num, and let's save it. Let me comment this, clear the console, and you can see the output as 10. Simple. This is very simple way of creating a class in Python. I will complicate this now. First of all, you need to understand the syntax. The syntax is class name, colon. Inside it, you can create n numbers of variable, n numbers of functions. Then I've created an object. Object, how to create an object? Any name you can take. Obj1, it's the current example. You can write your name equals to call my class with parenthesis. This is how you call a class. Simple. And then using a dot, we can access all the variables or methods, in short functions, inside that class. As simple as that. Let's complicate it now. To complicate it, let's take an example. We will create, here we are learning. Okay. To complicate it, let's take name and age. Let's create a class as person. I've created my class. Now we need to take name and age of that person. So let's create a constructor. And in constructor, what is a constructor? It is a default function of a class. So this class doesn't have that default function. Of course it has, but it is not visible to us. Every class has a default constructor. What is a constructor? It is a special type of function which is associated to that class only. If you are aware with C, I think you have already with constructor and destructor. What this self is doing over here, I will be explaining you this all once the code is done, because this is not that easy over here what I am doing right now. To understand why this self is being called, why this everything I'm doing here. Now my class is done. I've created a class name person. I've called a default function which is also known as a constructor of that class. Let's create person one. This is my object person. We need to pass name and age. So let's pass, let me pass one name from the chat. Okay, let's pass this again because I've already passed Rama. Desi, I think this is how it's spelled. And the age, I'm assuming you are 18 or 19. Simple. I've passed the age. And let's try to print. Let me quickly, this is the best angle. Print. Of course, my object name is person1 and I'm trying to access this name. So person1 dot name, I'm printing this, and person1 dot age is same as the above example. I've created an object from my class and that object dot num, I'm trying to access that num. So to access anything inside the class, I should create an object. I've created that object and from with the help of dot, I'm trying to access it. Here is also same. I've created my object calling the class. Of course, that class required two things, name and age. So I'm passed that name and age, and then I'm trying to access the two things which is inside that class, which is name and age. So object dot name dot age, save it. Let's clear the console and see the output. This again, and the age is 18. You can have the printing and all the styling over here, but I don't want to complicate the class too. Okay, if you got this, the code only, why self is there, this all I will be explaining to you all, but if you got this all, it's good. Yes, no in anything, or thumbs up so I can proceed to explain. First thing first, what is init doing there? Got it. Okay, so let's jump on to what is the init is doing inside the class itself. So init is a method. Of course, we can see how we know that method and function is one and the same. So init is a function. How I know it? It has parentheses, it has a parameter, so it is a parameterized function. In short, it is a function or a method. Simple. And all class have a default function which is known as init. Again, I'm repeating myself. In C++, we all have default function which is known as constructor. Here in Python, this is the constructor itself. The init is the constructor, and it is always executed by default. For example, in this case also, we don't initiated the constructor, but it always execute by default. But here I am manipulating the value of constructor itself. This is constructor. So can't we have our own function? You can have your own function. You don't need to do it in def init always. You can have your own function. You can name, you can rename this init to anything else, or you can have more functions also. We will be seeing those example too right now. First, you need to understand what is this init. This init is a constructor of this class. Each class has their own constructor. This is clear? Okay. So why we use this? This init function is used to assign values to object properties or to variables. In short, for you all to assign values to the variables when the object is created. So what we are doing this, why we are using this init? To assign values which is coming from object itself, because class can't take or handle any arguments. These are arguments we are passing, so we need a function to handle those arguments. Of course, function can handle arguments as a parameter. First thing first, this is clear. because right away we have learned functions. So it is used to handle or assign values to the properties. The name and age are the properties of this class, but it is inside a constructor. That's what making it complex. Or else in this example, this num is the property of class, and we have assigned a default value 10 to it. That's what we are doing here. We have assigning a value which is coming from an object to this name and age. Now to do it, why we are using this self? First, this explanation is clear, then I will jump on to self. A thumbs up will be helpful. You you all got up till now what is going on? If not, I will repeat myself. If you got it, just got it or thumbs up is fine. Hello. I will wait for few more seconds for you all to respond. Just respond something. Respond that you are not getting it. I will explain it to you all again. If you are getting it, we will proceed further. Repeats one, sir. Okay. Yes. I thought that you. Okay. Let's go one by one. Okay. Again, I'm starting from beginning. I think you understand person is our class. Why it has class keyword associated. This is how class is created. Simple. Now, init. I think you didn't got the init part. Init is a special function. Init is a special function in other programming language. It is also known as constructor, which runs automatically once the class is called. I think you all need to jot down this. I am multiple times when you're starting with your career for an internship, this question is being asked, what is the function which is called automatically and when? So constructor is the function which is called automatically or runs automatically when the class is called. Where we are calling the class? On line number 337 I'm calling the class. This is the class call, of course. So just jot down this. This is clear. What is init? The definition of init is a special type of function, also known as constructor. If you all want, I just comment. I will just ping this in the chat. Give me a done. This is a definition. You can copy paste or jot down and anything else you're comfortable with. Okay. So this init will trigger once the class is being called. Of course, we are calling the class over line 937. It will trigger. And now it needs two parameters, name and age. And of course, what is the job of this? To get those argument from this object. This is its job. So what is self doing over here is self is the represent of the current object being created or used. I think won't you didn't get those self thing. Got it? Perfect. Self part also you got it. It's a representation of the current object being created. This self, because this self will only act once the object is being created here with proper arguments or being used. Created or being used is the framing of English, nothing else. In short, this I will simplify this more. In short, this self is nothing but, I will write it over here. Self is nothing but p person1 dot name and of course person1 dot age. Oh, yeah, done. In short, that self dot age equals to name is nothing but person1 dot name, and self dot age is equals to age is nothing but this person1 dot age. Simple as that. Now I think it is clear to you all. Got it? If you want, I will also, let me just type those things, the definition for all this, so for it all crystal clear. Thank you for confirming. Oh, there is limit to, I was not aware of this. This is bad. There is a limit to type something in live chat. Okay, I will do this. I will do this way. I will do this way. Just what is class? Class blueprint for creating object. This is definition. It will help you in the interviews. And just so you can also refer this notes offline. What is an object? Is an instant of class. Here in example person1, but I am writing p1 because there is character limit. I was not aware of this. In comment section there is a character limit. What is innate? Just bear with me. I will share everything with you all. Special method that run whenever the object created, also known as constructor, also known as constructor. Last is self. Self refers to current object being created or used, and the last one is this. The self dot name equals to name refers to the object. Assign the given name to the object name attribute. In our example, person what dot name. In short, line number 334, cell dot name equals to name is person1 dot name. So all that explanation what I am already gone through right now is here in the comment section. Please go through it. If any doubt, let's clear it right away, or else I will proceed and we will see a few different and a bit complex example of class, because this is the default method init or constructor we have seen. Let's go with creating our own function inside the class. First you jot down. I will wait for few minutes. Meantime, yes, there is one important call coming. You just go through the chat. I will be right back in 2 minutes. Okay, we are back and hope I'm audible. Just give me a thumbs up to confirm am I audible or not. Okay, this all clears to you all. Class is clear. Okay, okay, means I'm audible. Thanks for confirming that. Class is clear, object is clear, constructor is clear, why init, why self, everything is clear. If yes, give me a thumbs up. Let's proceed and let's see a different example. Okay, let's complicate this. Let's complicate this and see a different example. Okay, just a second. Let me quickly write those definition too. Okay. Okay, this example will be a huge one because up till now we are going through very small example. So let's create an actual a big full example for this because I think oops is very important concept. So let's start class again, same thing, person, and what else I can do here? Same, let's take name, age, and of course job also here. So def init self, we will be using same name, age, comma job. This is done, and here same thing, cell dot name, cell dot age, cell dot job. This is done. This is done. Now let's create our own method. Let's create our own method because to take value from our objects, we need to have the constructor in place. So this will handle, this constructor will handle of taking the values from our object. Let's create now our own functions. So let's create birthday because we are asking and here we need to pass self because this self is nothing but our object and this objects holds all the values name, age, and job. That's why we need to pass self as a parameter for our created user defined function. This is known as user defined function. We are defining it, or you can directly say our normal functions. And here we will be printing simple happy birthday. We can print this HAPPY happy, but anything I'm printing, just I'm making sure you understand the concept. We can have n numbers of method inside it. Simple. So happy birthday. And of course, if we are passing self to this method or function, we can access all these three. So I can access self dot name and of course happy birthday, the name of the person, happy birthday XYZ, and of course you are now self dot age uh, years old. Simple normal things done. And here what I can do, we can, if it is your birthday today, then your age should be cell dot age plus equals to 1. Of course you will be 1 year older. If you're 10 now, if your it's your birthday, you will be 11. That's why I'm writing this logic. I'm just complicating things very little. Now def, let's create another thing. Let's create change job. If someone is changing job, because we are already asking for the current job. So again, self comma, if they are changing job, so we need to ask them for their new job, in what job they want to change, want to switch from uh, for just example, from a backend developer to a data scientist or data analyst, something like this. So we need to update this job with the new job. I'm just complicating things, nothing else, playing around with the variables and functions, and that's it. Simple. Self dot, obviously the current job. Please text me. Can't pick up the call right now. Let me just quickly send the message. I need to reply that it's very important. The call was very important, but anyways, I told them to ping me. Arre, 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 arre. Bro, don't change it. Automatically suggesting me things. I don't want that. Okay, now self dot job should be updated with new job, of course. So new underscore underscore job. So what is the logic over here is, now cell dot job, initially I am an backend developer for this example, so it has the value of backend developer that I'm storing into the old job and into a new variable. And now I want to update my self dot job, means my initial job, with my new value. So that's what I'm doing over here. How this work is, in programming everything works from right to left. Everything work from right to left. So this right side new job value will be assigned to the left side. I think this concept will be clear to everyone in C. Yes? No? Yes, got it. Okay. Okay, then let's proceed, and then I will be printing. I need to check my cell phone. Just quickly complete this code. Self name, because that person name, of course, and we will say change job, simple things, to from old to new. That's why I've had that old job things variable, created variable, and save those to new job. Simply, it will say XYZ person change from backend developer to data scientist. Simple. This function will handle those things. Def again, now what we can create, we can create show details. So details, each and every details that we have collected from objects, we can show details. And again, for showing the detail, we need to pass self. Of course, that is only thing required over here, because everything inside that self only. So first thing first, f name, we will be displaying the name of that person, space self dot name. My bad, it should be dot. Then print f age colon, of course, self dot age, and it should be that this is done. And the last thing is print f was job colon space self dot job. This is not required. Let's remove this. And if you want to do a styling in Python with the help of printing statement, we can do that. We can do in this way. If you are not aware of this, this is tip of the day. Yesterday also I've given one tip. Today also I've given one tip to you all. This is the tip of the day, and done. This is done. Birthday, change job, show details. Let's create one more function before birthday, because it's kinda rude if you are not greeting someone. So let's create greet, and again it will take self as a parameter. And here in greeting, I just want to print. Uh, we can print what we can print. It's hard to think the printing statement. Hi, my name is, of course, self.name, and so and so, so and so. But I will just leave it right away right here. So our class is completed. Again, class person, we have created our constructor. This is very much required to take values from object itself. Clear? Then we have created one our own method, which is greet, and we are greeting here. In birthday, we are, for obviously the logic is clear, we are wishing a happy birthday. Then change job thing logic, and of course the show details, and this is the tip of the day. Let's create objects. I will create two objects because we are dealing with one. Let's complicate and create two objects. For the ease of thing, I am just doing it p1 p2 person, and we need to pass the data. So let's pass Rama, and I will pass Desi Yan, and both I think 18. You both are young, and both are software engineers. So let's bifurcate them as an backend and front end. This is done. Let's p2 equals to person Desi Gyan, comma, you are also 18, just front end developer. Bro, the cursor. Done. Now we just need to access each and everything we have created. What we have created, we have created greet, we have created birthday, we have created change job, we have created show details. This all four methods we need to call it one by one. P1 greet, and don't forget they are functions, so we need to have parameters. P2 greet simple, and of course P1 birthday parenthesis, P2 birthday birthday parenthesis. Only one of them changes job, so let's say Rama changes job to from backend to front end. So I will do p1 dot job change, and inside here we need to remember that it takes a new variable because we have created, so not backend to front end. Let's change it to data scientist. Okay, data sci en tist, data scientist. And of course p2 doesn't change its job, so we will leave that in p1 show detail function, and of course p2 dot show detail. Let's save it. Now clear the console. Let's run it. Okay, object doesn't have a name attribute. This name. Okay, I didn't pass your details. Name, front and back end. Perfect, perfect. This is perfect. What's the issue? It's a typo issue. Person object has no attribute name. Okay, let me quickly check the person. This is a person. This is name, job, and this. Okay. Okay, got it. Let you all fix this issue. No, so let me just go to the comment section. I just want you all to fix it. It's my typo thing. So many things going on, but the explanation is very good and I'm getting everything. Thank you. Let's fix this issue. I just want you all to fix this issue. First, I will highlight the error. It says self.name. It says attribute error. Person object has no attribute name. Means it's something regarding to cell dot age equals to age. Perfect. Perfect, 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 perfect. Clap for you. Rama, you got this oops class topic on top notch. It should be like this. It should be like this. And it should be like this. Simple. Let's save it, clear everything, and rerun it. And of course, you will see the output. Output. First thing, P1 is Rama, so of course, hi, my name is Rama. P2 is for Desigyan, so hi, my name is Desigyan. Of course, happy birthday, Rama. You are 19 years old. Of course, we have the logic of +1 in the age on line number 352. So the 18 is being added one and it gets 19. Of course, happy birthday, Desigyan. You are 19 years old now. So for only Rama has changed the job. So Rama changed job from backend developer to data scientist. We have called P1 dot change job on line number 377, so that is working fine. This is the beautification I have done. So this print line number 365, this is a beautification dash dash dash. So name Rama 19, and see the updated job of Rama is coming over here because we have called that function before show detail. The calling of this function is also much important. I've called this job change function before show details. That's why the updated job of Rama is coming over here, data scientist. And again for Desi Gyan, it's the same. Name Desi Gyan. Okay, okay, okay. I think twice I've done it. No worries, no worries. You got it. The styling is beautiful. Yes, you can go with other styling also. For example, let me quickly change this to star, and this let it be dash to compare it. Let's clear the console, rerun it, and if you see the star is coming now with the dash is already was there only. This is yours, the single, and this is the Desi Gyan one. So you can use different styling. You can use 8, you can use zeros, you can use plus sign. It's the way how you use Python. Of course, the main motive was to learn the oops. Inside oops, we have already learned about classes, constructors, user defined functions. We have done this. Now, if this is clear, we can jump on to the another topic which is known as inheritance in oops. Let me quickly respond to message. Okay, let's take 5 minutes break because I need to pick up this call. It's very urgent for me. It's my mother's call. I can't ignore her. She is God. You can't ignore your mom or I will get beatings, bro. I will be back in 5 minutes. Meantime, you can revise everything if you have code, or else I can copy paste that code in the chat. Let give me 5 minutes. I will be back soon. Or else I can do one thing. I can just mute myself and uh, leave this code screen open for you all to go through the code. Just go through this code, and meantime I will be back. Yeah, done. Everything is sorted. Okay. So is there any doubt? If you want this code, let me quickly share this in the chat. You can also try in your system. And this, I, I might, okay, up till here, just make sure for the indentation and everything because it's not allowing me to paste. YouTube comment has character limits. Bro, what is this YouTube? Why you have character limits? This is irritating now. Correct. Let's do one thing. I will share one function at each time. Done. This is done. And next function, and make sure that indentation and everything's followed up correctly. This is done. Now last. This is also done. The entire class code is there. If you also want this all, I can share with you. Objects. Okay, up till and large 2. Max 150, so it's bit. Yes, it's very frustrating. In 2025, we are having this constraint, character constraint in things like YouTube. I can understand on commenting someone photos and everything. I have seen people writing thesis in Instagram Reels chat. But here we are doing something fruitful and there is a constraint limit. Not sure why YouTube has done this, but okay. Might they have their servers or database issues or limitations. Anyway, I think this is very much clear. Let's jump on to the next topic of OOPS, which is inheritance. Now, in English, what is inheritance means? I have only one example. I have multiple examples, but I love this example. If you are only child of your parents, you will inherited all your parents' properties, of course. That is inheritance. There is a parent, you are the child, you will inherit everything of your dad and mom, of course. Condition applied if you are only child. Jokes apart. Okay, for inheritance, we need to have two things, means two classes. One is a parent class, second, the child class. So we need to have two classes. So let me just quickly comment this. Let's create two classes, parent and child. Class parent, class child, colon, colon. Two classes created. Now, what is parent class? Parent class can have their own variables, constructor, of course, user defined methods or functions, everything. Same child can have their own variables, user defined functions in everything. But a child class will also have all those properties which is already declared in parent class. Means all the variables and function declare inside the parent class, child class will inherit it. This is known as inheritance. Simple. This is clear. Then I will proceed and start coding. Thank you. Simple. I think now this is the very simplest example of inheritance. And but here in my case, I have just explained you that only one child, that in terms of property, that was a joke. But in real time, a parent can have n numbers of child. That is also true. So here we can have n number of child. And if that child, sorry, that child can, all the child can have all the properties of parents. So to understand this, if you have siblings, that I have siblings in real life, I have siblings and all are older than me. I am the youngest child in my family. My, I think the eldest brother is about 42 or 44 plus. So he has all the properties in terms of DNA. I am talking about DNA of my mom and my dad. I also have the same DNA of my mom and dad. My sisters also have the same. So all the child will inherited all the properties of of course parents. So how to do it? Let's start coding. So I've created parent and child. Let me just quickly have one example for this also. All right, got it. Okay, just a second. I'm just one thing. Okay, let's make it simple because we are seeing parent and child for first thing, and then I will complicate this by creating multiple childs. So let's understand first simple concept, and then we will jump on to the other things. Okay, so let's rename a bit because we are already using persons and greet and everything. So I will be renaming this parent as person. We have created one class person, and we will create second class as student because you all are student. This is the only example coming into my mind right now. Again, def this, I think now you all have by hearted. Self name, same example, age, colon, again self dot name, of course, name, self, enter, bro, work, age. Done. This is done. And I will also create one simple greet over here to show it inheritance all the properties of parents. Self colon printing. Let's use F, and here hello, same thing. Hello, I am XYZ name. So self dot name, simple, and my age is, yeah, I am so and so, and I am so much so and so years old. Short, I'm using shortcuts now. Full stop. Simple. So parent class is created. It should be colon over here. Parent class is created. Of course, it has its own constructor. We have using self to take the values from the objects. It has a user defined method also, greet. Now let's jump onto student now. So student will also have its constructor. So let's create that. Init underscore self. Now what will student have? Their name, age and grade. Simple name, age, grade. Sorry, again cell dot name. Enter, bro. Why you are not working with my speed? Hmm, twice I need to hit it. Grade, it was grade. Done. And colon, done. This is done. This is student part is done. But do we need to have this? Do we really need to have this? The grade is the only new, what we can say, parameter we are taking. Do we really need to have those two, as we have already defined this in the parent? So we can call it from the parent. So let me add one comment for you all. Call parent class constructor over here because it has everything. That name and age. Everything means that name and age. So I am calling parent class constructor. Simply then this two will be gone. Bye bye. And how to call it? The word is super. The word is super and it is an function dot underscore underscore the name of it. The name, what is the name of the parent constructor? It's the same init only. So I'm calling with the name and from there I need name comma age. As simple as that. So super means I'm calling this from parent class. So super function is being used. Just a second. If you all have any doubt over here, just comment it fast. Let's clear it and move on. Yes, that's try. If no, we can proceed. Thumbs up if it is clear. No, I will. If no, then I will re-explain it to you all. Fast, 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 fast. Clear, clear, clear. All clear. Let's jump ahead. Just jump ahead. Just okay. So we have called constructor from parent, and to call it, we are using super function. Clear? Then of course this of the child will also have its own user defined function, so I'm creating that. This is just to showcase they both can have their own variables, they both can have their own user defined own constructors. That's why I'm doing this if, and in this we can have self dot name, and I'm using this name. This cell dot name is coming from the parent one. Here we called that cell dot name inside child, and then I'm using the cell dot name. So there won't be any error. Studying studying hard for grade, whatever grade XYZ wants to study. Simple, it's basic minimal English. And let's have another class because let's go with multiple childs. Employ emp, or else we can go full employee and person person. See that I will soon enough I will be explaining this to you. Here I've missed that. Without this you can't inherited this. You can't use super unless and until you call parent class inside student class. This is the way to do it. Sorry, I missed there. So now we will do the same thing. Def underscore underscore init underscore underscore. Of course, here what in an employee one we need name age. We can take name and age and job. So why we need to take name and age? Let's have self and job, but we need to define the name and age, so we don't need to forget that. But here inside here we will call that name and age from parent. So underscore underscore init underscore underscore what we need to call name and age from parent, and then self dot job equals to job. Done. Simple. Now let's create a function for our employee child, means employee class child, self colon, and we will have simple printing statement if, and of course the name is working as so and so. So cell dot name is working as cell dot job. Done. Done, 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 done. If you want beautification, full stop, comma, this and that, you can use it. Okay, if this is clear to you all, Now the next step is to create the objects of this all. If this is clear, just thumbs up. Yeah, super, got it. Okay, you got it. Let's then jump on to creating the objects of this, and voila, we are done with the inheritance. Okay, enter, enter, enter. Outside it, I will create, of course, we I can create parent also, parent object also. So we will be seeing that we will be creating parent object, because of course a parent class is a class only. So we can create object of any class. Either it should be a child or parent, it doesn't matter. So P1 for parent 1 means that person 1, and there we are asking for name and age. So let's go for Rama 18, and again the student one, so S1 for student, and student student, and there we were asking for name, age, and grade. So let's change the name to Desi Gyan, because he was there. Desi Gyan. Let's for time being, let's change the age because we want to check it is updating the value or not. And let's take the grade 12th, because after 12 we go for JEE, and etc. And employee, so I'm giving E1. Let's call employee. And here also, if you want to change the name, so let's go for Narendra. Narendra, hope spelling is correct. Just bear with me if there is any typo. Narendra, let's have Narendra age 28, 29. I think it's 5-year experience, 2020 passed out, 21, 26, 27. It's might he will be 28 in age, and of course he will be a software. He is a software engineer. Done. Now let's call all the function what we have already created. So we have created greet in person, and of course in student we have created study, in employee we have created work. But of course we can also call this greet inside student and employee, means s1 dot greet I can call, because this greet is a inside parent one. This person is parent, parent class, and all the property of parent class is inherited to its child. So this both name and age and also the function greet is accessible to student and employee, which is our s1 and e1. So let's check, let's try s1 dot greet and e1 dot greet. Done. And then we need to have study and work, but of course, the study is not accessible outside of the student class. The studies, this employee class cannot access study. Even the person which is parent class cannot access this study, because this study, this user defined function is only known to my student class. If this is clear, let's go and call s1 dot study. Simple. And of course the same for the work. This is not accessible to student class and person class, which is parent class. Of course this work user defined function is only accessible to employee class itself. So let's call e1 dot work parenthesis. Let's save it. Where is the console gone? New terminal. What happened to you, bro? Come back. Clear. I don't want. Go. See the output. Let's cross verify. P1, it's for Rama. So I am Rama. I'm 18 years old. Of course, the second one was S1, which is student. We have created the object for student, and here the greet, which is inside parent, the user defined greet function is inside the parent, is also accessible to the student. So that's why with the help of S1, which is object of student, we are accessing I'm Desigyan, I'm 21 years, and same for the employee. But here the student class, the study class is only accessible to S1, which is the object of student class. So Desigyan is studying hard for grade 12 and Narendra is working as software engineer. Hope this inheritance is very much clear to you all. What is happening, what is calling, what is where it is going, mixing here and then, what is accessible, what not is accessible, and all. If not, I can repeat myself, I can explain to you. That is the ultimate motive of life. If it is not clear, make sure it is clear in live only. Okay, superb, you got it. GG. Thank you. And for the file and everything, in tomorrow's live, once we complete the GUI, graphical user interface, I will be sharing this all codes and PPT with you all, so don't worry about the code and everything. Okay, done. Any doubt? No doubt. Let's jump on to, or else you want 2 to 5 minutes break before jumping on to decorators and iterators, which is last topic for today. It's completely on to you all. It is getting heavy, so we can take 5 to 10 minutes break, then start with decorators and iterators, or else I can directly jump into it. Waiting for you all reply. This was all about oops in Python. I know there are other things in OOPS, but that is applicable in C, C++, and Java, not in Python. Of course, now let's start with decorators. Decorators let you add extra behavior to a function without changing the function code. Now coming back to the old, very soft thing, function, not heavy as complex as class. And a decorator is a function that takes another function as an input and return a new function. So decorators do two things. First thing, first let's understand its normal behavior. So decorator let you add an extra behavior. Extra behavior means extra parameter or extra value or something without changing the function code. Means the code will remain the same, but it will add something into your function. That thing we will be looking through the code only, but understand it will add something to the code without changing the actual code of the function, actual function body. That's what it meant over here. But actually in coding we do some changes. Without doing any changes, how will the code will be there? Okay, just a second. Ah. And the second part is the decorator is a function that takes another function as an input and returns a new function. Means decorator itself is a function which take input as a function and return a newly created function, a new function itself. So this will also you will understand with the help of code only. So I don't want to complicate more, and let's straight jump into this. VS Code. I need to comment this all now. Now we are doing decorators. So definition is clear. If definition is clear, let me create one function and explain it to you all. Def and we will have one simple function. Let's say letters or characters. Let's say characters. This is our function, and it takes another function as an input. What takes? Decorators takes another function as an input. That's why I'm writing func over here. Now inside this I will create another function let's name it another function only, another fun, and this will be a default fun. I will explain it to you all what is happening over here, and here inside this I will be returning fun, and of course dot let's change it to lower or upper something, means you enter your name and it will change it to upper letters or lower letter. Let's change it to upper for time being, just for ease of explanation, and will return it will return another function. So done, this is done. Now the decorator I'm calling the decorator of here, this is, and now I'm updating. I will create a new function, because to deal with decorators you need to have function, and it will return simple hello learners, Learne, whatever may be the spelling. I just don't want to get into the spelling because this concept of decorators is very much important, and I need to print my function over here. Of course it is a function, so don't miss the parameter. Let's save it and clear the screen and see. It says hello lear learner learn lear learners. Hello students. Simple, as simple as that. Why to complicate things? Simple. Now this is decorator. It's few lines of code, but the logic behind this is much more complex. So if you are gone through the code, let's start with the explanation then. What is my decorator over here is my characters. Def character is a decorator. This is the decorator. Let me decorators. Of course, because in definition we have already seen decorator is a function. It is a function. Yes, it is a function. What it takes as an input, it takes another function as an input. So this is the parameter of my decorator, but that parameter should be a function. This point is clear? Hello, hello. Yes, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, so I can proceed further. Okay, I will proceed because I don't want to break the flow. Always go with the flow. And to complete the definition, what this decorator do, it generate another function. That's why we need to have this another function. It generate another function. So we have created another function, and inside this what we are returning, simply the input from the function, from input function. That input means it's parameter, it's simply parameter. So parameter function, what is this function is returning, that we are converting in the uppercase and returning as an function itself, because decorator deals with function only. It cannot deal with variables. it will take input as it will take input in a form of function, it will deal with function, it will return a function. So we are returning the function itself. So what this function will return, it will return a value. What is that value coming from? The value is coming from a function which is a parameter to a decorator. Where is that function? The function is over here. This is my function. My function is argument to my decorator, and then to play around with it, I can't directly play around, so we need to have an another function. Inside that another function I'm manipulating my parameter, and then I can't return a value, that's why I'm returning the entire function itself. Now why this return is required? Because we are not playing with variables. Here we are playing and dealing with functions. So to return anything from function, we need to use return itself. So first thing first, if I call this def my function, it will return. Yes, this one is a bit complicated. That's why I've hold the decorators in between and took it to the end, because I know this is a bit confusing. So let's break down this confusion to be very much clear, because I have one trick to learn anything. The trick is, if you can't get it in one way, just break it down. I will give you one example. You are hungry and you want to eat five rotis or chapatis, but you can't eat five at the same time. So what you will do, you will eat one at a time, but you also can't eat one at the same time. So what we do, we break that one roti or chapati into more smaller pieces and then we eat it. That's make us easier to consume that roti or chapati. So that is what learning all about. The concept is too big, break it down. Again, you're feeling it too big, again break it down, and then you will get it. So let's break it down. Let's break it into piece by pieces. So let's make it into pieces. This is my simple function, def my function, and it will return hello student. For an example, if I try to print my function, what will be the output? Let me quickly, okay, let's do one thing. Let's take this out. Let me just quickly take one thing at a one time, break this program down into pieces, and then we will have this all together. Okay, so this is my one function, and forget this, have this written, think it has num equals to 10. Okay, this has num equals to 10 in return, and let's remove this. Okay, this is just for explanation, forgot about the syntax error, anything else. Okay, let's understand this. Def another function. If I call this, what will it return? It will return this only. Let's simplify this, it will return 10. Let's simplify it more. So anytime, anywhere I call another function, it will return 10. Of course, this is clear. This is a concept of function itself. Now let's complicate this. How we can complicate this? I will create another function above it, and let's name it comp. So we are doing complex thing, complex colon. Now if I want to return anything from this def, I will simply write return 11 over here. Now this is the concept of one function inside another function. So if I call complex now, how much value you think you will get? You will get 10 and 11, or only 10 or only 11? First you need to understand this. If I am calling complex, what will be the output? 10 or 11? If this is clear, then I think the decorator will be clear to you all. Perfect, Rama. Means this is clear. You will get 11 as an output. But if you want 10 as an output, then you need to call another function. Of course, now once you call complex, it will go inside this. It will come here, come to this, and it will return this. Now my question is, how many 10 will be printed? 110 or 210? This I'm just confusing yourself. I'm confusing you all. If you correctly answer this, then voila, you will understand the concept. If you want, I can give you this code. You can run it in your Python or PyCharm and tell me the answer. This is the easiest way. You can try it and tell me. I will give you a few more seconds. What, how many tens will be there? Only one? Only this return will work, or this return will work, or this 10 will return, and then again we are returning this another function, so another 10 will come. What will be the output? 110 or 210? You got my point? No? Okay. Okay. Initially you gave me the correct answer. Of course, it will return 11. This is very much clear. It won't execute this or won't return 10 because we are not utilizing another function. But if I am utilizing this another function, it will only return 110. The 10 will be returns once only, because when we call this function, of course, if I am calling this function, it will, no issue, no worry, no worry. I assume my live is delayed. The Because teaching live, I'm not sure how my network and your network and other things are going on. So okay, I'm just explaining, so it will be very much clear. So if you call complex, it will go inside its body, it will find another function, inside another function it will find return 10, it will jump out from this function only, from another function it will return 10. So in short, this two lines of code will be converted to 10. Nothing else. It won't jump out from complex. We are still inside the complex. We are only jumping over this another function and holding a value of 10. In short, this another function is holding a value of 10. In short, when line number 435 will be executed, another function is holding a value of 10, means this complete complex will return 10 only once. If you got this, then coming back to decorators, here I have a decorators, means it is another function like character. It takes input as another function. So let's skip this part, input part. We have the similar case over here, another function. It can return, this is our 10, and of course if we call characters, it will return 10 only. Understand, this is our 10. For right now, this is our 10. This complete thing is our 10. I will come back to that topic, but understand this is a 10. So it will return 10. Of course, calling the character, it will return 10 only because the another function is returning 10. That's simple. Now let's jump to func, means the parameter. So the decorator take input in a form of function. So this is a parameter of my function. Parameter of my function. Very simple thing, parameterized function. This is a parameterized function. But here, parameter is not a variable, but it is a function itself. So that's why here I need to create one function. I can't create a variable, I need to create a function. So I've created one default function, and that default function will return hello student. Simple. This default function will return hello student. So this function is parameter to my decorator. This function will go inside here, means hello student will go inside here, and here it will jump to line number 423 because we are utilizing this func over here, and we are saying dot uppercase, means hello student dot uppercase will change h, e to caps, l to caps, o to caps, everything to caps. And then again we are saying return another function. So output of this another function is all caps hello student. That's why while printing this, we are getting an output of hello student. Now, how we got this output of hello student while we are returning this decorators? Because this decorator ultimately holding the value of another function which is all caps hello student, and here we are calling our decorators, and then this decorators is called inside this function should return a value which is hello student, but this hello student is not directly called, it is going inside a process of decorators, and there it get converted into the uppercase, and then we are printing my function, so our output is hello student in all caps. This is nothing but nested functions, one function inside another function, and it is all jumbled up, and this concept is known as decorators. I think now it is clear. Yes, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. If you love the explanation, give me heart also, so I will get okay, this is clear, this point is clear, then I can jump on to iterators. Perfect. Thank you for the heart. I think you got it. And you can, without help of decorators also, you can achieve this. It's just creating one function inside another function inside another function, and it is known as nested functions. You can do that also, but Python has a different concept called as decorators. So I'm going through the topic. Okay, that was most important. Without breaking it down, in first go only nobody gets decorators. Of course, well, time of when I was studying in the college, it was bit trickier because I was trying to learn this through C++ and Java. It was so complex in Java. In Python it is just few lines of code. In Java, decorators is next level tough, you won't get it only. And our teachers were superb. They were, this is the book, this is the code, done, bye bye, the lecture is over. So I don't want to be that kind of person, but yeah, in that era, the teachers were not that much into teaching. They were like just completing that 50 or 1 hour of lectures. That's it. Okay. Next is iterator. What is iterator now? Let me go to PPT. The way. Okay. An iterator is an object that contains a countable number of values. Countable numbers of values means it can't be infinite. Of course, first thing countable. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's countable. 1 million, billion, trillion is also countable numbers. Mean it can hold up till that much value depending on your computational power. Of course, I will give you trillions of parameters or trillions of values and apply for loop. My system will be gone. Of course, we don't have terabytes of RAMs. We don't have, of course, you don't have hundreds and thousands of GPs of RAM. So countable means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in our case. That's it. Second, then iterator is an object that can be iterated upon, means that you can traverse through all the values. For example, understand, just take an example of list or an array. List have 5 values, and while iterating we are using I as an iterator. So I will go to the first value, second value, third value, and fourth value. That's it. That's what an iterator is. But here we are talking in terms of objects, so that's make it a bit complex, or else I think you already know about iterators. So that's it. Let's see an example and clear this topic also. Let's comment this out. Hash, what we are learning is iterators. Iterators. So list, tuple, dictionary, set, all are iterable objects because they can hold n numbers of values. Of course, list can hold n numbers of values, so anybody, or arrays also. So any collections which hold n numbers of values, this iterator or iterable can be used over them, or they can iterable containers, because why containers? They are holding so much values. Simple. So all these objects means list. Now don't go with that class and objects. This is other another terminology over here. So list, tuple, dictionary, all this have an iterator in it. So let's create one tuple, for example. Tuple, let's take tuple equals to, for tuple it's parenthesis, for list it's box bracket, for set is curly braces, for dictionary it's keys and value. And let's go with BMW, simple, Audi, DDI or DI, whatever may be, and Lambo means Lamborghini, but it's fine. Now I will use one new variable. Let's name it iterators. I can, okay. For ease of explanation, I'm naming it. The keyword is iter. Yeah, iter. It's totally upon you how you pronounce it. Simple. This is done. Now I will be printing. There's two things we need to learn in this iterator is iter, iter, iter function, and the second thing is next. That's it, next function. These two are only responsible for this complete topic. So next, this is also a function, and I will call iterator, and just copy pasting this. Now see the magic. Okay, in programming, this is my saying in programming, iterator is easy though. Yes, it's very easy. Decorator were tricky, but iterator is very easy. My saying is, in this real world or in the programming world, there is nothing magic. Everything has a logic, and in programming, of course, everything works on logic only. There is nothing magic. This is my saying. I always say this. There is nothing magic. It's always a logic. So let's save it, clear the console, and voila. You see, BMW, Audi, Lambo is printed. It's the same. We can use for loop and while loop for it. If you don't want to use the looping statement, this is the way to do it. So iterator here, this is the variable using iter function we entered into the tuple, and with the help of next it will start iterating. This iterator will start iterating on BMW, Audi and Lambo. That's it. That was the easiest and simplest topic in Python. There is no more, nothing to it. So my recommendation is, don't go with this. Use for loop and while loop if you want to, of course, use and tuple or list and print anything or do any type of things. But it is there in the topic, so I just go ahead and explain to you. That's it. That's nothing all. The topic ends over here. Okay. So let me quickly cross check today's topic if I'm done with everything. Okay, function is done, lambda is done, decorator is done, scope and iterator is done, oops, classes, object and inheritance is done. Yes, loop is the best for this. So today's topic is done. We'll wait for 5 minutes. If any doubt in today's topic or any out of this four, if you want me to go and touch and re-explain it, if the concept is not clear, code is not clear, I will do it. Or else from my side, this four is done. Tomorrow's topic is very much interesting. Tomorrow's topic is there in the description. You can go through it. In my notes, let me quickly check it. Tomorrow is the last live, day 5. Then again we will be starting with, yes, today is done. Oh, okay, I have not, I will edit this. Okay, I just not updated the description. No worries, I will update the description in. right away. Meanwhile, if you have any doubt, you can ask me right away. In yesterday's description is correct. Yes. Okay, yesterday's description. So next topic is modules. The next is try and catch, file handling, JSON, RegEx, and GUI. Also not regarding Python, but yeah, sure. Anything you can ask. So, sorry, tomorrow's topic is module try file handling, JSON, regex, and GUI, which is the advanced topic of Python. What is your favorite movie and anime? Uh, there are many, many. I am a huge anime fan. My first and the topmost, I love the anime is of course Naruto. Second, DBZ. Third is Saitama. And recently I saw the Demon Slayer and diehard fan of Demon Slayer. I'm trying to buy that mini swords. Like I have this Naruto and this things. I just want to go with all the Demon Slayer sword and I watch in the cinema and of course mind blowing. I love animes. Sir, I missed some topics now. I want to watch offline only tomorrow's topic, able to understand if it is essential for understanding tomorrow's topic. Okay. Tomorrow's topic is completely new. It's nothing regarding to what we have learned, but make sure you know uh, what are functions, what are classes and objects, of course, all the loops and if condition, because this all we will be utilizing in tomorrow's topic sharp at 11 p.m. as you all requested for today's 2 p.m. and tomorrow's 11 a.m. So I will be live at Sunday and oh, I'm just started seeing it. Oh, wonderful. I've seen ample Dead Note, One Piece, whatnot. You name it, I've seen it. I don't see Bollywood, of course. I see anime. I'm anime fan. I read mangas. But yeah, okay. They see enough, of course. And yes, my anime movie, the recent I watched is the Demon Slayer, and I fell in love with that. Of course, Diet. The, in theater, it was wonderful experience. The sound, the fight scene, that Michael Muzan, of course, Tanjiro. I love it. I love it. Anything else? Any doubt you can ask regarding Python or the roadmap if you want. You want to be a data analyst, data scientist, ML AI, deep learning. If you all aware of deep learning, sir, how many months takes for learning ML? It depends on student to student, but of course it will take more than 1 year. If you want to only scratch the surface and know what is ML and just write a few lines of code here and there, 6 months is more than enough. But you really want to enter this domain and work as an ML engineer, I think it will be more than 1 year, depending on the speed and grasping power of your want to join internship. In how many months you are planning to join internship? If it is 3 to 6 months, okay, okay. Then do a crash course if possible. If not, uh, go through certain areas and certain topics if you want to get into the internship. Or else just DM me on Instagram. We can have a planned session for you, the roadmap and everything for next 6 months. And that, of course, you all want a dedication session with me for a particular topic, for a roadmap and to learning certain concepts. Of course, how I teach in offline classes, let me just briefly explain to you all. Any student approach me offline or online. Now from last 3 years, I'm doing it online also. Like 2020, I've started doing online classes, not on YouTube, of course, but online. So first thing first, what you want to do, what you want to achieve, why you want to learn this. There are few questions from my side. Once you answer that, I will take one day, I will create a roadmap for you within certain time period, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, of course. And once that is done, we will start actually digging into codes, learning the concepts and everything. Once that is done, before one month is left, we will start building your resume. We will make you market ready to get into the job. That is how I professionally do it, and that all are paid courses. I take charge for that because it is creating, reshaping you from nothing, from zero to hero. I call that thing is, I will make you from zero to hero in world of programming. So there is a proper roadmap, resume building, how to apply, how to crack this. Because you simply go and apply on LinkedIn, nobody will contact you. You won't get any response from any HR. There is a way to do it. There is a way to create a resume. There is a way to target your job in various companies. This all I will be teaching. There is a proper roadmap for it, and that's all our paid courses, of course. In that I teach a complete backend, complete front end, full stack. If you are applying for those courses, data science, data analyst, MLAI, of course, full stack. So it's completely you, for you all, which way you want to go. Because just only learning Python won't get you into industry. This you all should very much clear on this. Only get learning Python or learning C or learning Java won't get you or place you into industry. Today's industry standard is utmost high. Why? Because there is a competition. You know Java. There is a person who knows Java and Python. And there is a person like me who know Java, Python, front end, back end, testing everything. They will hire me on the same package which was gonna offer to you. They will hire me because I am bringing much more skill set on the table. So it's all about skill set, you know. So think about it, think about the career. Because one of my student, in yesterday live only I told, he got the package of 15 lakh per annum. He was studying last he's studying with me from last 3 years. He is now full stack developer. He completed his graduation, of course, with flying colors. How to crack exam also I know, because I was an topper in my college days. And starting with 15 lakh per year is very good package for current 2024 to 2025 current going years. Okay. Any other queries? Any other doubts? Yes. Wow, wow. That was my reaction was best of luck, because I know he has worked day and night. He has created a projects like nobody has ever imagined. Of course, in college, in between the college student, he was doing fantastic job after learning the tech stacks. Tech stack, I don't mean one two programming language. Tech stack means databases, of course, backend, APIs, front end. If you want to go in a backend, front end, or a full stack, if you want to go data science, data analyst, there is separate tech stack you need to learn. Of course, it's completely dependent on where you want to reach, where you are seeing yourself after 10 years. Like how I see it. Sir, English communication is very must for higher. Uh, I can say 60-40. 60% is your skill set, 40% is your English. Why? Okay, let me give an interesting example. Just ping, just you all just comment you want this example in Hindi or English. Simple. Then I will be giving you this example. Meantime, I will have a sip of water. Your English. Okay. Fine. Let's do this example in English. There are two restaurants. There are two restaurants. One restaurant is creating and generating or the odor of the food, the smell, the odor of the food is very nice. You are just carried away with their odor of the food. And the cooking, the chef over there is excellent. And the other restaurant, it's not that good. The food is not good. But now it comes to the presentation. The second restaurant has an AC, very clean table, chair, everything. The waiter and everything is up to the mark. The dish is not tasty, but then do you choose to go to the second restaurant because of the ambience? Why? That is the presentation skill. In the first one, the food is tasty, but the ambience is not very good. I'm talking about the street food, and we go to the McD, Burger King, and everything. The street food is much more tastier, but the presentation skills, the cleanliness is not there. Of course, you all will agree with me. But in second one, there are cold, and I don't know when that food was prepared. It is stored in very cold places. Then they reheated and they gave it to us like burger and everything in McD's and other places. So, but again, we love those burger, French fries, which are when it was cooked and then they deep fried it and they give it to us. Why? Because of the ambience, the place, the neat and clean, everything. The people like that second restaurant most. Why? It is a presentation. So, 60% of your skill, the coding, the logic, everything is required, but the way you present it is the only way in English. English is only way you present yourself, your knowledge, your skills. I can code very well, but I can't explain what I'm coding. That doesn't make any sense. Of course, I'm coding very well and I'm using very hi-fi English or a normal English to explain my code. That makes sense because ultimately the end person who is taking my interview got my point. Okay, his logic is utmost correct and he is able to explain it 10 to 20%. This person is knowledgeable, we can hire it. So you should know English up till 30 to 40%, but the skill set is utmost important. Without skill set, knowing 100% English, what you will do? You will just stare the keyboard and the person. You know English, hi-fi English, but you can't do it anything. So 60% skills, 40% English. Okay, as data analyst, ML engineer, the types of role also have must to know aptitude, reasoning, like that. Okay, so aptitude test doesn't, of course, y- uh, let me clear this. Any field, if you enroll into banking sector, if you enroll into other sectors also, leaving IT, they all need to go through aptitude test or reasoning test, because in each and every field we need to deal with problems, and this test like aptitude and reasoning is to calculate our caliber to test our problem solving skills. That's it. Aptitude test is basic simple maths. It's nothing to do with coding. But actually when you're screening test, of course, if you all starting with the interviews, you will go through the screening test. The aptitude and reasoning test is a screening test. Once the screening is completed, you passed out the screening test, then you jump onto the actual coding, where they will ask you about DSA, normal logic, factorial, xyz. So yes, in any of the field, if you're a beginner, if you're a fresher, you need to deal with this aptitude and reasoning and other things initially. After 4 to 5 years of experience, nobody will ask you aptitude, reasoning. Actually, nobody will ask you to code also. It will, then they will give you an real problem and they want real time solution from you. After 4 to 5 years of experience, if you're spending 4 to 5 years as an ML engineer, data analyst, backend, front end, cloud solution engineers, XYZ, then after 5 to 6 years, they will, experienced guy, they will ask you, they will give you a real time problem and they will ask you to provide a real time solution. No coding is involved because you mastered that in 5 to 6 years of your journey. Hope this is clear. Oh, I didn't change my. Wait, let me get into my this coding, coding, coding role. This is my spare glasses. When I am chilling out, I am being at my home and doing nothing, just reading. I use that glass, but this is my coding glass. Okay, take care, Rama. Happy coding, happy coding. Loving you all, loving this live intersection. Sorry, interaction, and of course, the main thing is you are getting what I am teaching. It's my ultimate goal is to make you learn Python. And startup or moderate company or MNC, which is the best sir for a normal candidate want to upskill and easy to enter, which is best. Okay, if you are a fresher, go with MNCs. If you are 2 to 3 years of experience you have, go into startup. So if you're a fresher, moderate company or MNCs is fine. Why? I will explain it to you in a bit. But if you have 1 or 2 years of experience, go into startup. Starting directly inside a startup is not good because you won't learn anything. Startup is some project. I want to build a website and they are building a website. They got a funding. You placed yourself in that startup. Everything is they will pick everything ready made. For example, they will buy this module from XYZ company, that module from XYZ company. They will combine these two modules and create their website. Done. There you won't learn anything. There you won't learn anything. How to debug, what is this team, what is that team, how QA, how cloud, what is DevOps, what is cloud ops, how this application deploys, what is the testing, what are the environments. This things you only learn in a moderate or an MNCs because they have a budget. They already have a big product in the market. So you enroll into a product company, either it should be a moderate MNCs whatsoever. You enroll into them, you got place, then you will learn about the product, how a product works in terms of softwares, because ultimately a software is a product. WhatsApp is a product. You're using that product. For us, it's an application, but ultimately is a product for Meta because Meta owns WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is a product. How UI of WhatsApp works, how API works, how cloud storage works, how real-time cloud things work, what tech stack is been involved. You will get to learn this all in MNCs or moderate company. But in startup, because they want to make money as soon as possible, what they will do, they will buy the ready-made stuff from the market. Means there are uh, solution providers in the market. They will buy those solutions directly, 2 to 3 solution, mix it up and create their websites. So there you won't learn anything. After 1 to 2 or 3 years of experience in MNCs, now you learned many things, that how to create this module, how to create one service, one microservice, how to create cloud service. You have learned this MNCs. Now you use your skill set, go into the startup, take a higher package, sit there for next 2 to 3 years, because now you are the important person there in startup. People will revolve around you. Okay, you know microservice, let's create this microservice. They will giving you the leadership to create those microservice in startup. Then you create that microservice from scratch in startup, and you know inside out, you work on that product inside out. Then that is done. Then 2 to 3 years you spend your time in startup, you learn everything, then jump on to next big MNC, claiming that I have created one product from scratch in my previous company. This is how you should upscale yourself. Hope I answer your question. If nothing else, we can wind up of today's live. Okay, thank you. So okay, it's more than 3.5 hours of live continue me speaking. So we'll take some 10 to 15 minutes rest because there is my offline lecture starting at 6. Okay, that's it for today's live. Keep coding, keep building, keep pushing limits. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. More projects, more live, more concept, job hunting, resume building coming soon. This is NM signing off. Till then, bye.